Amen. Amen. Well, first of all, thank you everyone for joining. We really do appreciate it. We appreciate the business that we get as Matthews and Glance customers, and we really are happy to be here today. I will tell you, there are two much smarter guys than I. One that is on vacation and one that just had to deal with a family emergency. So I apologize. I will share as much as I can with you. If we have questions I can't answer, I'll get that information and we'll get back to you at the end of it. But the big thing we wanted to cover today is hot weather applications, tips, and tricks. And as you know, working into the summer here, there's many different things that we run into in dealing with hot weather. So you get me today. I'm your presenter, Chris Reamer. Dwayne Dormany was to be here, but had a quick emergency he had to leave to. And our man Paul is on vacation, but all of us are here to help you. Can you see my screen okay? Did that change okay?
I think it looks great.
Okay,
Keep
sounds good.
going.
I'll keep an eye on the Q&A. It looks like we're up to 7 here, so we'll stop at some point and see what that looks like. Unless you want to look in there, Peggy, and see if there's anything that's raising up at the moment.
I'll handle that part.
Okay.
And yeah, and then like when we get to the end, I can certainly chime in and give you a load of questions we have.
I appreciate that.
Okay, thanks.
Here today, like I say, you've got me, our two guys, Dwayne and Paul. I can't say enough about our technical guys and our guys in the field. I'm very fortunate to be leading a team I came to a couple of years ago where everybody is, 5, 7, 10, 20 years in the paint industry. I've been in for about 13, but just a couple here with Matthews. But if you want to take a picture of this screen, if you've got technical questions, our technical team is here to answer anything you might run into, whether it's working in cool temps, hot temps, something you've never seen before. As long as I've been in the paint industry, it's always amazing to me how many things we see that we haven't seen before. So just tells you how much of an art and science paint is. So some considerations that you have when you're working with paint is that paint dries and cures faster in high temperatures. So you need to look at a few different things there when you're working with it. The application, how we're applying it, the flash time, how long we'll give it between coats, what our recoat window is, and then the 15-degree rule. If you're not familiar with this here, one of the things we want to make sure that everybody had available to them is how temperature can affect that. For every 15 degrees Fahrenheit increase in temperature above standard conditions, which is considered 70 degrees, a paint product's dry time and pot life may be cut in half. So we may think it's not a big deal when it was 85 and now it's 100, but you literally can lose half your pot life with that. So we want to be careful with that. The 15-degree rule on the other side, and this is something we covered in the cooler temps, it will double your time. So if pot life was 4 hours, it'll jump to 8, and your dry time may go as long as 16. Everything that we do is based off of 70 degrees. That's kind of the sweet spot for paint to dry there. But when you're working with it, obviously there's things that you can change. You can change your reducer, your catalyst, or a combination of the two to help you work within those conditions. Other factors that you may want to consider is time. Liquid materials such as primer, paint, clear require time to dry, and that's just gives your time solvent to evaporate off the surface, and then to cure where the products are cross-linking together after you've mixed them together. Temperature, we kind of just hit on that. As it goes up, you can anticipate that you're going to lose the amount of time that you had. If you were at 4 hours, you may go to 2. If you're at 2, you may go to 1. For paint products, one of the things you do want to keep in mind too is how thick or thin you're applying the paint. That also can affect how quickly your paint will dry. Thin paint will dry too quickly. Thick paint may take longer to dry. So those are things you want to keep in mind. If you've not been to our website, I would go to matthewspaint.com, take a look at that. Very helpful TDS sheets on there, give you good recommendation. And again, reach out to your local glance rep, your local Matthews Paint rep in the area. We've got about 10 of us across the country, or either the technical guys that we listed before. The last piece that may impact your hot weather consideration is airflow. Airflow into the booth should be adequate to remove overspray during the application and allow the solvents to escape after application. So you want to make sure while you're in there painting, you've got the fan running, but after you step out of there, you keep that booth running to help it dry. Turning down your airflow can impact that dry time. Too much airflow can actually skin the surface over. So you want, again, especially in warmer temps, want to be careful about that and have the solvent be trapped underneath that. So some training manual fundamentals that we've got here, what we call the golden rules of success. You want to properly prepare the substrate. And one of the things we always hit on with our customers there is, did I clean it before I did anything to it? You know, you want to make sure you're starting out with a clean surface so you're not driving things into the surface of the paint. So clean it, braid it, clean it. Those are really, you know, that's how we know we're getting to a good, proper surface to start with. Use the right spray equipment. I was in a shop last week where we had a painter using a 1.8 tip where we should have been using a 1.4. And by just changing our tip size and how we did application changes, we took their dry time from 60 minutes to 20 minutes. So be sure that you're looking at that TDS sheet, verifying the tip size that you need, or reaching out to one of us for help. And obviously that's what it says next. Follow the tech data sheet. Choose your appropriate reducer, catalyst, and accelerator. And we'll talk a little bit about what they may look like here. And then maintaining temperature and in particular airflow in the spray booth. Typically temperature as it gets warmer isn't much of a problem there because you're probably taking air from just outside and bringing it back in. But in the summer, you want to make sure you're keeping it warm, or in the winter, warm enough. So here, one of the things here he highlighted, and I apologize because this is my first time going through it, guys. So we'll go through it here together.
You're doing great. You're doing
all right. Good. So some things that you're thinking about. Your first decision that you're going to face when you come to this is you're going to choose a reducer. And some things that we look at here are fast and slow. They can be a bit misleading. Cool, warm, and hot temp reducers are a better indicator of how you're using it, where you're using it. A cool temp reducer is formulated to evaporate up to 70 degrees. So it just allows the paint to cure out as it should up to 70. A warm temperature is formulated to have it allow it to evaporate up to 80 degrees. And then a hot temp is for anything over 85. So again, choosing the right reducer is key to helping you in your hot temp weather. Reducers do have multiple jobs. It's not just to reduce the paint. They do make the paint sprayable, which is what we all think of when we think of a reducer. But they also aid in the application, keeping the edge wet, especially when you're painting larger surfaces. And they do aid in the leveling, appearance, adhesion, and drying flash time. Again, things to consider here. Temperature is just one of the factors here. Down below, we've listed out some of the reducers that we've got here. You can see where they work best in the categories that we've got. We've got some overlap with them, but really choosing the proper reducer is key. The size of the job is something else that you may consider. A higher temp reducer will be required in order to maintain that wet edge. The reducer does not speed up the cure time. Accelerators will do that. And typically in warm temperatures, that's not something that we're too concerned about. So our conventional reducers are listed below here. And we're recording this. So if you want to come back and go through it, certainly do that. Again, visit our website. We walk through them, or reach out to us. We're here to help you. We did discontinue one here that was not needed. This 45 280 will cover down below. Benefits of using an accelerator. I see some questions popping up there. Would you want to hold them till the end, Peggy, you think, or do we want to go through them here as they come up?
We can do either one because I'm getting some good ones.
Okay, well, why don't we take a moment and I swear, guys, I'll do my best. If I don't know the answer, I'll get your information. We'll figure it out. Okay. You want
Well,
to take a look at a few of them here?
one is just, how basically how humidity affects the proper adhesion and drying time. And, I know just from working, in the manufacturing industry for a little bit that, yeah, anytime you add humidity to anything, you're
Yeah.
looking at added drying time, you're looking at all sorts of things that I probably don't know that you know. So,
Yes. Yeah, and certainly one of the things that that you just brought up there is humidity can play a role in that. Again, it will may take the product a little longer to evaporate off the surface. Um, I don't really have a good chart for that. We work more off the temp, unfortunately, because the humidity may do that. But I would probably say it looks like that came from Edgar. I can
yes.
get your information and we can get one of the guys in touch with you on that. The other thing I would say is, as you look at that, um, as the temperature goes up, moving up in that reducer to help you with that. Um,
And then
but
another good question was, can accelerator be used with flatting paste?
yes, that's not a problem. Yeah.
Okay, great, great. Okay. All right.
All right. Critical decision number 2: should an accelerator be used? Again, I was just at a place last week, like I said, where uh, they were using the wrong size tip in there. We did two things. They were using our 2.1 epoxy primer, and we took their tip size from a 1.8 to a 1.4, and then we added about 10% accelerator into it. And again, you can do that. One of the things I'm going to recommend that you do here, if you haven't pulled the accelerator off of our chart to take a look at it, I would take and go on our website and pull that up. The benefits of using an accelerator are it will cure up your curing process, speed up the curing process. Again, I would be just very careful on how you do it. You don't want to ruin equipment and you don't want to get going so fast that you get a dry edge and you're not able to keep a wet edge while you're painting. So probably best to have a spray panel there, or a test panel to spray out, get a feel for how it's performing and go from there. But you can over accelerate products. So one of the things that we did is we put together this mixing chart. It tells you ready to spray, how much are you working with there, and then the maximum amount of accelerator that can be used. Um, you do not want to exceed that. You want to do your best to avoid having any issues. Do not exceed that. You're better off to take where you're what they're recommending, cut it in half, see how that goes, and see how that works for you. It does reduce the time needed for vinyl application, multiple colors, wrapping, shipping, etc. One of the things I'm just going to hit on regarding wrapping and shipping, if you've got product that you're painting and trying to ship out right away, there's a product out there called Breathe Right Wrap. And I would recommend if you're shipping something that the paint hasn't had the full time to cure out, wrap that over that, because if you do not allow it to cure out during shipping, you're going to have some issues with that also. Which accelerators do we recommend? You can see here, he's highlighted two that are most shops could benefit from having these in stock there. We've got our standard strength BC converter, and then the 3 times stronger than the other 274 437. And really, that again, that'll just give you the ability to help it cure out quicker. So like I say, in the summertime in these temps, that's probably a little less of a concern, but it certainly can still take longer than you like I say, we were um, helped a shot get through reducing their dry time from 60 minutes to 20 minutes, and it can make a difference there. So let's see here. Matthew's documentation is the yeah, the max load. I kind of already hit on that. For temps over 90, use a half load. Uh, that's this amount less half. Use the hot temp reducer, and conventional users can use 4251 retarder as well if you're getting into super large jobs where you need to actually slow it. If it's not keeping a wet edge, you're going to have a problem with that. So you may need to actually retard it. I know it seems odd to say that in the hot temp, but so product consolidation. This is something that I think Dwayne added. He called me and told me about it this morning. There were some questions about some consolidations that we did last year. We had several older products that needed to be discontinued since we had better options available to us over the last 3 years. We had several products where we had redundant or unnecessary products out there. A big driver in the primers in particular was environmentally friendly. We were the last division of PPG that was still selling products with chromate in it. So we did end selling products with chromate in it. And then multi-purpose, if you look at our Brilliant White Primer, it can act as a primer or a reflective coating, depending on whether you apply one coat or two. More productive, if you look at some of our older epoxies, the new 2.1 epoxy requires just one coat, where some of our older ones required two. And ideally, it's less products for everybody to stock, whether it's us speeding up production and time in manufacturing, the warehouses storing it like Glance, or you storing it on your shelf. It's just less inventory that we have all the way through the system. This is a letter that went out last year, and I'm sure if you need a copy of it, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We can get this for you. Our customer service desk has them. Um, sorry about that. Our customer service desk has them. I know we've sent them to Glance. I'm sure they've got them too. But it really just walks through the items that we discontinued and what the replacement product for it was. Some of it was just sizes. We had several different sizes, some of the same things, especially in our sign strip. So, and
Send
as
this
far as,
out to folks too. If you would like a copy of this, I can definitely send that out as well.
yep, perfect. And so this went out last July. So we're coming up on a year here. Excuse me. One of the things they focused on here is products will continue to be sold until they're depleted. What we had not depleted by the end of the year last year, we did either have a fire sale or discard. So anything that is on here is no longer available. But as I say, we do have the replacement item listed next to it, and happy to help you get through that. If you have questions on applications, one of the epoxy primers here, the 6007, was the one that we replaced at the shop I was just at. They were accustomed to putting it on with a heavier tip and two coats of it. I would just say, talk to us about questions that you might run into. Don't struggle. I can tell you, as we looked through each of these products, we worked with Dwayne, we worked with Paul, we worked with our lab, and all of the salespeople. We actually were together last January 23, walking through picking what is the best product that can do the most things that will give you the best end result. So we should, if anything, you should have ended up with something better than what we were using before. So that's what we've got. Again, I apologize that Dwayne had to jump off, just had a family emergency there, so he had to leave.
I hope that everything is working out okay for him.
Yeah,
That's
well, his
not good
daughter
to
works. His daughter works in a vet, and
hear.
a cat got overly aggressive with his daughter, so she's on
Oh
her way to the
no,
hospital. Not one of those job hazards, I guess we can thank being in the paint industry. We don't have to deal with live animals.
that's
So
true. Well, I
yes,
do have one. Matt made a comment. He was saying that the Breathe Right that you referred to earlier, he
yep.
couldn't find anything with that name. So we were just wondering like where someone might obtain that.
I let me get some information on that here,
Yeah, I'm
and
gonna get
I
Matt's
will.
info and
and I'll
Okay.
get that back to you. Uh,
Okay. And
I
I can
know,
reach out.
and we can share that with him. I'll
Yeah.
get that out there.
Sounds good.
It's kind of a blue film that you
I
can
was
tell.
thinking it was stuff you put on your nose when you try not to
No,
see.
no, I know it sounds like that, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, but I will. I'll get that over to you, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for giving me that. Okay. Yeah, I'll make
I
sure
think,
that
and
happens.
Matt, I see your information there. I'll
Yeah.
send it to you so you've got it, but I'll also make sure it gets directly to Matt too.
Awesome. You did such a good job. I know you filled in kind of on the fly. I just really, and I'm getting other people that are saying, they want some information too.
Yep.
Bob, thank you for your questions as well. Just really appreciate y'all's patience. Things just happen, and really glad to have you again, Chris. You're one of my favorite people, and I'm so glad that you were able to do this, because I think when you
Well, thank
when
you.
you train us at Glance or talk to us at Glance, you do have a depth and breadth of product knowledge. So really appreciate it. And thank you
Yeah.
guys so much. I will send out a recording. I just have to edit it so that nobody hears me talking forever and ever. So we'll send that back out to you guys so you have some information. And of course, if you reach out to your rep, if there's a couple other questions, sorry, before I go. There's a customer, sorry, who uses SV paint with 283320 catalyst and a 6371 reducer warm. He says, why do I get dry spots when I'm spraying? So I don't know if you have an answer for that, Chris.
You know what? Do you want to just send that one to me, and then we'll answer
I
him
totally will.
directly?
There's a couple more
Yep.
machine not consistent when spraying, and then the LBX 270. What finish is this?
LBX 270.
Yeah.
I'm grabbing a couple of these emails off of our chat line here.
Okay.
Sorry.
And yeah, there's a couple of questions too. So I wasn't sure. How can we avoid dry areas after painting, even though we spray a wet coat here in Cali?
Okay. It sounds like it might be drying out too quickly.
Yeah, yeah, dry
Yeah.
areas after painting.
So I'm wondering here if we look at I'm assuming are using the LV or the SV product in California there.
Let's see what Ron says. SV.
SV. Okay. And which reducer are we using in that? Do we know?
Not sure. Ron. I could also
Well, if you want to gather, what do you want to gather them?
6371 reducer, I think.
Okay.
Well, at least Kristen says that's what that she uses. So
Okay. I'm trying to grab that here real quick.
yeah, this is good info. 63. Okay, I will go ahead and email you some of these and get you
Yep.
directly in connection.
That sounds good.
If that works. And yeah, and totally understand situation there, and appreciate you presenting. So if anybody has any other questions, you can just put them in there, and I'm gonna
And
be on.
here, I'll throw my you want
Okay.
to throw my
Well,
email on there too?
yes, that would be
And
great,
then
Chris. We
if you
could do
want to
that.
email me directly, I will I'll make sure that we get answers to your questions here. I
Yeah.
apologize for the last minute. Yeah.
No, you don't apologize. You saved the day. So
Yeah.
I would not worry about that.
Yeah.
So it's let's see, I'm trying to think. I
Chris.
always forget the nomenclature of your email.
Yeah. No, it's just how my name is. Chris Reamer at
Okay.
ppg.com. And if any of you have questions and you'd like to email them to me, please do so. I'll make sure that we get the technical guys in place with you.
Mhm.
Chris Reamer at ppg.com, and Reamer is Remer.
Got it. I just put it in the notes there. And
Perfect.
Edgar, I'll get to your question too. I'll definitely put you guys in connection. Ron, he says he has the 6371 SP reducer. And I'll definitely put you guys in touch as well. And
I'll
that
jump on it
way,
right away here. I'll grab one of my, I've got a couple really good sales reps in the field too. And
okay.
I'll jump on them, see if we can get answers to you guys right away here.
Yeah, that would be great. So right after this call, I'm going to send him the questions and give him some contact information if you guys are okay with that. Put you guys in touch with each other
Yep.
and we'll go from there.
All right.
All right.
Good.
Well, thank you very, very much again. I really appreciate it. And I hope
Thank you guys.
everybody has a great day
Yep.
and enjoy your summer.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.